December of 2023, the Real Estate Board in Ontario has come out with a new piece of legislation called TRESA, Trust in Real Estate Services. And the idea is consumer protection, which I have to tell you, I absolutely would advocate for. What they've done is they've tried to eliminate some of the confusion around who's representing who. It's a really hot topic in real estate. When you look at where, things go awry and where lawsuits come from, it's often confusion around, whose agent was that, especially when things happen like one agent has both the buyer and the seller. So this is an attempt to simplify your understanding of who's being represented. So we've done away with some of the hybrid versions of representation. There's now basically two options out there. You either have an agent or you don't, to put it simply, So we have this thing called an unrepresented party, and we have a represented party. So this is important to you because it's suggesting that the inflection point of where you engage an agent might be different than it was in the past. If you look at how many of us have built our businesses as realtors, we often meet people somewhere in a transaction. It's almost like you're dating, and then they decide to work with you, they don't, etc. And there can be some loyalties that are shared things because you often meet someone at one of your clients' homes, right? I've got a listing, you're a buyer, you come and meet with me, all of a sudden I'm learning about you, you're learning about me, and then we've got this awkward little dating thing where I'm already dating someone else. Are you willing to be in this open relationship? Would you like to go find someone else? You get the idea. What the idea behind TRESA is that we're going to make it very, very clear who's representing who, and we're going to make disclosures before we ever meet you. So I think that's good. It also leaves this little awkward thing, though. If you don't want to have your own agent, you really don't have the services that we've been able to historically provide you. So I would suggest that TRESA is, again, a different inflection point where we're suggesting that perhaps it's get a pre-approval, get an agent, go look at houses, as opposed to get a pre-approval, go look at houses, maybe fall in the lap of an agent, maybe use different agents depending on what you're buying. So there is a change here. The intention of the change is that you, the consumer, are really clear about the representation that you're receiving. And if you don't want to be represented, you have that option. But it gets a little sticky. I can't write your offer, and I can't provide you with guidance on pricing or et cetera, et cetera. I really can't use my expertise on an unrepresented party. So I don't see the huge value in going that direction personally, but I'm sure there's reasons to do it. But it is interesting and it is of note. And I have to tell you, the position that we're taking on this is I'm quite happy that I'm not able to, work both sides of a transaction the way I used to. It always smacked as a bit of a kind of conflict of interest. And I'm happy to see an attempt at cleaning that up and separating buyers from sellers so that everyone's got really good independent representation. So like I said at the beginning of this, it's all a little bit confusing for all of us right now. And certainly the phone calls you're going to have as a consumer this year as you reach out to agents are going to be different than you've had. And they almost feel a little bit awkward, to be honest, because we're putting paper in front of relationships in a way. But I trust that, the greater good is being served in that we want you to know what it is that you're contemplating before you're into it. So there it is. If you ever want to talk about this more, we can unpack it one-on-one. Again, TRESA. It's here and it's going to stay. So it'll be an interesting little ride.